Go Shiva,
There she goes.
go Robert, go.
What's
Go,
up, everyone?
go,
What's
go,
going on?
go,
Hello, hello.
go.
Is my phone up here? No, it is not. So
Oh, that would be nice if it
won't be
was.
doing no invites from there.
I can go grab it. Hello.
Yeah, you might as well.
I'm going to go grab it, and that way people can see my outfit. Okay.
There you go.
Go grab it.
And I will fill in the air a little bit. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another Thursday night edition of. Yeah, I gotta get some. I gotta invest in some equipment. We got no sound effects, no nothing. But fuck your feelings. The show. Like we are on every Thursday night. Myself, I am Robert. She is Toshiba. The two of us together are the combination that drives the show called Fuck Your Feelings. Because that's one of the pivotal driving mantras of our relationship is sometimes you really just have to put the feelings to the side and deal with what a situation is. So thanks for folks joining in. You know, I see Cookie and Isro and Lifesaver. Appreciate y'all hopping on in with us. Toshiba will be back here in a moment. And tonight we're going to be talking about how do you rate on the sexual marketplace. And the reason we're talking about that, one, it's comments are made towards, oh, well, why is it directed towards the ladies? Well, because I don't think men really truly have a problem in knowing where they rate in the sexual marketplace. Like women make it pretty clear to men where they stand, and men have to focus on other attributes to try to offset their lack of what is it called, Chad qualities or whatever.
Oh, Chad.
And most men are totally, absolutely, positively, 100% okay with that. Have no issue with it whatsoever. I've known men to refer to themselves as ugly, but they do that from the perspective of knowing that I know that, and therefore I went hard in other categories, and that's why I made myself attractive.
But men are not valued generally based on looks, right? Most women will take an unattractive man who's financially sound over 6'9" with no job living with his mama. Because that's not how we don't judge men based on looks, or at least a woman who's looking for a future should not be dating a man based on his looks.
So, how do you really think the streets reflect women thinking about the future?
Well, no, because they've all got the same baby daddy.
Thank you.
Not doing anything for any of the kids.
Thank you. So back to my theory of, I don't know, I think for some women they're making it matter a little bit more than others because they feel like I got my life set, you know what I mean? Again, that masculine energy that I'm just gonna.
But that don't even mean, this is where I get Jamaican, and sorry for my voice, I was screaming all last night at my daughter's dance competition. Yes. But that don't make no sense, as Jamaicans would say. Right. It wouldn't make any sense that my life is set, but I'm willing to sacrifice financial stability in a partner for looks, right? Where a man is like, my life is set, and in addition, I want a woman who is going to be able to get me to other places. And the reality is, showing up with a beautiful woman in your arm who's sophisticated, who's well-spoken, and so forth, does help your career. That is why most successful men have attractive, smarter women on their arms. And let's not talk about the industry. The industry does not count. The music industry, the movie industry, none of that actually counts unless you're on the business side of it. We're talking about real people in real situations. So people will always relate to someone, but such and such in the music industry did it. That doesn't count. The people who are performers do not count. The people who are doing the business who really matter, who got the real money, that's who I'm talking about. They generally want a woman who's good looking, who's refined, who's educated, who's well spoken to help them get to the next level. A woman should not be looking for a man who's good looking, educated, well spoken to get her to the next level. She should be looking for a man who, again, who's got himself together in a financial way. My daddy didn't care about if the man I was dating was good looking. He wanted to know, if I have you marry my daughter, can you take care of her? Will she need to call me if she needs something, or do you got this? Because if she got to call me, you're not the man for my daughter. That's how my daddy looked at it.
Um,
I'm just saying.
First,
Trying to make sense.
you just said it again, are we really going to have an honest conversation about women and their behaviors and
Yes.
sense?
Because if we're going to be telling them, to be realistic about how they're raped, we're having honest, that's all we do here.
Right, but are we going to say how women act has to make sense?
No, because it doesn't make no sense.
It really does. What are you talking about? That's where I'm coming from. Like, what do you mean? Women consistently behave in manners that don't make sense.
That is accurate.
That I cannot disagree with. That's why everybody, like, as they say, everyone has a microphone. That's why everybody is out here talking about what's going on, because something is clearly not right in the water. Because I made a comment on social media earlier in that I guarantee better results if women choose from the men that pursue them instead of the men that they pursue. And what do I mean by pursue, Robert? You should ask.
I guess.
What I mean is, this man was not thinking about you until you placed yourself in his face. That is pursuing a man.
Well, we have a clip out that came out just today where we put that together, and I was actually the one in the clip saying, there's a difference between being with a man you want versus being with a man who wants you. And again, the issue is girlfriends. It's good when your girlfriends big up your head. Again, I'm being very patois because honestly, the English words aren't coming to me. So when a girlfriend big up your head and she's like, oh my God, no girl, you're a 10, you're everything. But guess what? You don't want vagina. So as much as my girlfriends might say, girl, you're attractive and any man should be lucky to be with you, that sounds good. But if my ideal is to be with a man, I should care what the men think about me in the sexual value marketplace, right? What is my value to the men that I want? Not to my girlfriends who are going to tell me, girl, you are amazing, and you're smart, and you got it together, and you can help build a man. Men ain't worried about that in the beginning. They're looking at my physical. Yes, Robert, we want.
Okay, so this is from the fellas. They chimed in real quick.
Oh, okay, good to know. Oh, okay.
But
all right.
They got a question for the ladies. And then if that's the case, then why are so many, like, men have said they aren't really digging certain beauty standards. No, actually, I'm about to answer my own questions, because men, hey, that's where it's on us. We say we don't like BBLs, but we sure be clapping them cheeks, boy.
Not clapping them cheeks.
And that's where I get where women say they got the right to, and I think women have a little bit of an argument on the right to be confused, where men say certain things, but then
their behavior shows differently.
Just do, and I'm definitely not speaking by myself. I'm rather choice. But guys, again, tend to not reject women who put themselves in their face. How's that sound?
That sounds accurate. And that's why I said it's an accountability on both sides, because you can't want to wife at 8 but consistently sleep with 5s, knowing that 5, if she gets pregnant, is going to have your baby.
Well, one, I think guys are just really coming to understand that that's facts. And 2, I don't think men have, especially younger guys, because they are the main culprits of this mess.
Not the main culprit.
They don't understand that, dude, even though you have the qualities about you that you can attract an 8, if you keep taking down 5s, that 8 is not going to deal with you because the streets associate you with taking down 5.
Especially if that 5 becomes the mother of your child.
Especially if you have a baby mom. That's a, and again, we're throwing out numbers. Some people are just going to be offended purely based on the fact that what are y'all just throwing out these ratings, these numbers? Who do you think you are?
An 8.
And we're just using the Kevin Samuels scale. Hello, Cass. And look, we didn't make this stuff up. We are just adopting it for the purposes of conversation. Don't hate us. Go find whoever came up with these metrics.
People have been rating women for the longest time. This is the end. Like, let's not pretend.
That's how Facebook was started, to be honest with you.
Everything was started on rating. There would be no Tinder. Like, Kevin Samuels didn't help create Tinder. Like, people want to blame Kevin Samuels, like how he rate people. That's the whole point of dating websites with just pictures. You're rating somebody with physically appearance. So what is Kevin? People want to blame Kevin Samuels for everything. But again, the whole concept of Tinder is rating you based on look. Most people don't even read the profile. I remember you were impressed that I read your profile. And then when you finally read mine, you were like, you know what? It would have been good enough if you were just pretty. But clearly you got some substance.
It's funny that you said it finally. But here's...
You did. Again, it wasn't very long after, but you did.
But, quick sidebar. Wouldn't that be a clever dating app that if it was purely... You sign up the acknowledgement that by going on this site, you're submitting yourself to ratings, and instead of swiping right or swiping left,
they'd have to give you a number.
The number 1 through 10 pops up, and you punch in your number, and then the other person can see
how you
were rated, and you can only communicate with people that pass whatever threshold that you set for yourself. And you can see it there and look and see, but it would clearly, because I think that would just take all the guesswork out of it. Instead of swipe left, swipe right, like, oh, I liked her, why didn't she like me?
Most women wouldn't say it.
No, but then I think they could have the same opportunity.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe a lot of women would say that.
Back the same way. But again, I think when the reality of it comes down to it, women would feel more offended by the actual hard results of it. Yeah. Because overall, women tend to think more highly of themselves than men do themselves. And again, I know that will be even argued. I know guys that are, he's a narcissist.
No, that's fine.
So there can't be this many narcissists in the world. It is statistically impossible. It's just, I think, too many women. It's like it's almost a mind bender that he is a conscious being, a human being, and he has things that he'd like to get out of the relationship. We hear on your show, Kendra G, man, listen, it's so crazy lopsided on both sides. This is not just an issue, but again, let's use the ratings. How can you be a 5 and demand an 8? Make that make sense to me.
But the issue is your girlfriends have told you you're an 8. Okay, so let me go back to thank you for everybody who's joining, and we can get into the crux of how this is. That's actually not how it started. How I even came up with this topic is I was on Facebook, and Facebook is a place that I kind of now jump in and out. And there was somebody on my Facebook timeline who was talking about the fact that they had a conversation with somebody about how they rate. They had given their number, and their girlfriend had said, no, you're higher than that number. And that person put out saying, hey, what do you guys think about this rating thing? Because this is how I rated myself when my girlfriend was saying I'm higher than that number. And of course, women came in the comments and started talking about, oh no, your girlfriend's right, girl, you are higher than that number. And it was this whole round of bullshit, okay? I refrained from commenting because my commentary would have been something that probably would have got me blocked on Facebook. I guarantee you, right? I would have been blocked, right? Because I think we need to be honest with ourselves. unless your intention is to fuck another woman, how other women rate you should not matter. Unless that other woman is like myself and she fucks other women. And therefore, her rating of you is probably more accurate. But your heterosexual girlfriend saying, girl, no, blah, 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 because they started adding, oh no, because of your personality and because of X, Y, and Z, and you're a good person and you're hardworking. Men aren't looking at that. When a man first meets you, none of that is known. Your girlfriends may know that about you. Those are your girlfriends. So stop asking other women how you rate if you don't intend to build a life with other women. If you want a true reality of and from another woman, choose a gay woman or bisexual woman who actually have incentive to be real. You want to know how you rate truly from a woman? Ask a gay woman. Ask a bisexual woman. But stop asking your girlfriends how you rate, because your girlfriends are setting you up to fail. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And we're going to show a clip of one of those things where a woman we'll see her reaction and you'll know that she set up this woman to fail. While I'm setting that up, Robert, you can respond too.
Yeah, going into this clip, it's just, guys have pretty much every guy has overheard a girl just talk about gaslighting. Y'all gaslight the shit out each other all the time. With that, oh, you look great in that. Oh, dude's gonna be checking for you. With your whole objective of like how you go out. Oh, shout out to Chisses there too. We are.
Yeah, I literally had it at the point that I wanted.
Started out, but we're using.
Yeah, you can.
One of his
I don't hang out with ugly
videos.
I just don't. Like, if you can't dress, if your hair's always a mess, if you're just not attractive, sorry. Like, we can't be in a clique together because I'm not the most gorgeous person, but when we
don't be saying stuff like that.
Why?
I'm not the most gorgeous person. Like, don't.
I mean, I'm not a freaking 10. You think I'm a 10?
Yes, you don't think you a 10? Oh my gosh, girl, you have to always think you a 10. How you gonna say you don't think you a 10, but you don't hang out with ugly people?
You can't be a 2 or 3.
What are you to you? If you're not a 10, you might as well be a 2 or a 8. 7 is a 2 or a 3. If you don't say you a 10, you might as well be a 1, because now you're just playing games with yourself.
Yeah. You can't make this shit up, people. You can't make this shit up.
Yeah.
I just want to go back so just that we can see the woman in question who's saying she does this woman here on my screen is boldly saying on someone's public platform she does not hang out with ugly people, and she rated herself a 7. And her friend.
Oh, I didn't hear that. She did say she was a 7.
Yes, she said she was a 7.
Okay.
And her friend said, no, you gotta be a 10. Now, clearly the friend was being a bit of a bitch. I'm gonna say it straight up, because she actually laughed. I missed that part. The video was set up, but she kind of laughed when she said she was a 7. And then she said to her, well, you're a 10 because you can't say you don't hang out with ugly people and look at yourself as anything less than. So this woman here with what looks like ramen noodles on her head top is going on people's Beyonce and Blue Ivy's internet and saying she is not going to hang out with ugly people and she is a 7. Ladies, come on. Come on. This woman's life circumstances have shown her that she's nothing close to a 7. You only need to look at your life circumstances to know that your girlfriends are lying to you. It's not hard. But this is the society that we live in, that we're upset that we're rated. But the reality is we're rated in everything else. Grades are a rating. Grades are a rating of how well you did on a test and a sign of your intelligence. They have IQ tests. They have tests to help you get into universities. They have things that you have to pass. So in order to get with the type of man that you want, especially if he's like a Beyonce, like a Robert Stevenson, there are going to be tests that I had to pass tests. And one of that tests was actually not even realizing it was a test, was when Rob actually asked me to rate myself.
Oh yeah, that's just kind of like the delusion dip test real quick, just to see, what's really going. That is a good story. We can
So
share that.
because Rob and I talked about absolutely everything. Like when I say we talked about everything, we talked about everything. It will be in my new book, Fuck Your Feelings, The Journey to Imperfect Love, coming up sometime in 2023. So you will get some insight into some of the conversations that Rob and I had, especially right in the beginning on Tinder. And again, we got really deep. So in one conversation off of Tinder, once we got off, we were having a conversation and Rob said, how would you rate yourself? And clearly, I know enough. I've been around enough men, and I'm also a bisexual woman, so I get it. It's based on physical appearance. And I said, physically, I would rate myself an 8. And he said, good. Interestingly enough, I would rate you at 8.5. And Rob and I's first conversations via like FaceTime or WhatsApp video at the time, I had no makeup on. It was just me, pure, everything, kind of almost fresh out the shower. And I was like, oh my God, I appreciate that, because I am not a 10. Like, I am realistic enough to know that I'm not a 10. However, my life's circumstances have shown me that I'm at the very least an 8. And when I mean my life circumstances, the type of men that have been attracted to me, the type of experiences I've had with those men, the type of attention I get from men, not all men, men of high level, the caliber of men I've attracted, the situations I've been with these types of men, that is my life circumstances that have shown me that, you know what, this is how you rate, girl. And guess what? Men have told me that that's how I rate. There's some men who might say I'm 7, but none of them are ever going to say I'm a 5. None. There isn't a man that I will be put in front of any race, of any creed, who's going to look at me and be like, oh, she's average. You're disagreeing? You think some men would say I'm average?
No.
Oh, you're shaking your head.
I'm just following your thinking, your
right. So for me, it was like
that to you.
when your girlfriends are up there hyping up your life and telling you, again, this girl had what was ramen noodles on her head with some woman beside her, lying to her. We need to stop lying to each other, because if it is, we want to talk about protecting Black women. Why are we protecting a reality from women? That's not protecting a woman, to have her go out into the world and to have reality hit her in the face when her life circumstances show her that that's not the case. And you know what happens? Because she's going out there with an inflated ego, she's ignoring the type of men who are approaching her, because she thinks she's out of their league. Like that little ramen noodle woman might think that she's out of your league. Because you're just a 9. You're not a perfect 10.
I've had some interesting interactions with women where I've almost felt like, yeah, right, you wish. Like, I'm damn offended that you pulled your blouse together like I was looking at them titties. Like,
I'm sorry. My throat really slurred me from sip. That was funny. I almost choked on my water.
yeah, so women tend to think very highly of themselves, man. You know what I'm saying? You, like, literally, I've been like, do you, like, say, for instance, that's why I've learned, never ask a woman for directions, because one, that's not your strong suit, just to be a funny guy. But 2, she's going to think it's a line.
Oh, is that really what? If you ask a woman, like, how do I get? I've never ever even crossed my mind. I just assume the person's looking for directions. 9
times out of 10, she's going to assume that you're using that as a segue to try to have a conversation with her.
Oh.
So I'm literally like, do you know, like, which direction Grove Parkway is? I have a boyfriend. Like,
what?
What the
That's ridiculous.
Never mind. Okay.
I've never,
and go
ever,
home.
ever
And
thought
again,
that in my mind.
That's deeply sometimes disturbing when it's just kind of like I've learned I just don't even do that.
Here is my thing.
Like if there's nothing but females in a gas station and I'm lost, I will just wait. But I guess this doesn't matter no more because this was when you'd be driving around without a phone that had a map.
But still, people, I still, people on buses, people on whatever. I never assume a man is hitting on me until he hits on me.
That's a good policy.
Like, I just don't assume just because we're having a conversation. I happen to, I walk down the street and say hello to people. Even Tran the other day was like, Mommy, I find that you say hello to people more when I'm also more carefree than I was when I was back in Toronto. So yes, I say hello to everybody. So should people assume because I'm like, hey, good morning, that I'm hitting on? Like, should a man assume that?
Like you just walking around shooting shots.
All the time?
Like the guy in the gym where the lady started spazzing on him talking about he was staring at her butt or something like that, and he's like, "What man?" He kind of got a little upset by the whole thing, anyways, because it's like you trying to turn this into some type of moment
that it's not.
And one and two, like,
So how do we interact?
If a man doesn't have sovereignty over his eyes and the direction that he points them, what does he have? Like Jesus, so you cannot. What visual essay? Really? That's where we're going with this?
I have a question. If the point is to attract men, why get upset when you attract a man?
The point's not to no, that's why I think the dynamic has really gotten skewed in so many women's head. The point. It's almost like any guy shooting a shot at me, reject him because I'm only interested in the guys I'm shooting my shot at.
I have not been off the dating market that long. It cannot be this bad.
That's why
that's
why you can just scour
ridiculous.
YouTube and find these gold digger videos where these chicks instantly just regular dude just steps up and actually shoots a shot like, oh, you're really pretty. I like that. I got a boyfriend. Then he walks over to, and it's not even like a super crazy exotic car, nothing like that, a freaking Camaro or something.
That's happened to my brother.
And women do a full 90-degree pivot, like, oh, it's been videos where the girl had just got in the car. He's like, what do you mean? You just rejected me. What are you talking about? You're getting in the car with me. Where are we going now?
That happened to my brother. That is true in Toronto.
Because now she's had visual, and if that isn't masculine, like you need visual validation.
Yeah, he was like, fuck these hoes.
That's why again, every dude and his mama got some type of Gucci belt or something like that in his repertoire because it was almost like, it doesn't matter. Spend $400 on a belt, and you can fool at least one woman into thinking you got excess money.
And that's so funny because that's just not ever been my experience. And I've had guys flash their car keys. They're casually talking to me with the Mercedes or the BMW or the Bentley or whatever key. And this was back in the day though. And this wasn't even. I'm not even talking about even 2010. This was early 2000s. I have had guys that I guess maybe that, and you're right because some women do bite, but that's never been a thing because I'm like, I don't know whose car this is. I don't know anything. And what does that even say about you? Like, it doesn't say because you drive a Bentley or a Rolls Royce that you're of any good character. No, it's nice.
It says you're ready to negotiate your price.
That I'm ready to negotiate my price as a woman?
When a woman just jumps at just a visual show of excess or luxury or lifestyle, like just ready to bite on it. She sees you in a exotic car and she's like, oh, this guy's got to be somebody, as if CEOs of banks don't drive around in like regular everyday
or take the subway or whatever. And let's not be silly. I'm not stupid enough to say, yes, I don't want a nice lifestyle. Rob and I are building a very good lifestyle together, a very, very comfortable and nice one. However, what I am saying is the reality for a woman that if that is the only scale that you're using to be with a man, then you shouldn't be upset when the scale he uses to be with you is how you look. Isn't that fair? If I'm going to judge you, how much attention I give you based on the quality of life I think you can give me. So you drive a Mercedes-Benz truck? Check. You got 6 figures? Check. You're tall and handsome? Check. Assuming I ever wanted kids to funnel through my body, your genetic gene pool would give me good-looking kids? Check.
Okay.
So if I'm rating you on that, so what is it for you to start rating me and go symmetry of face, height, weight, proportion, big breast, small waist, big bump, thick thighs, like
Or whatever it is.
Whatever it is that you're rating me, that has nothing to do with my ability to parent children, okay, or do any of that. So if I'm going to go down my checklist and say, here are the requirements and he's meeting them, what is it for a man to go down his scale and his scale is going to be different? It's a scale of 1 to 10.
Basically. And I would say people in general tend to migrate in their range. You know what I mean? You don't see a tremendous amount of everyday couples where there's a big disparity between them
Looks wise,
unless the guy is really a provider, or sometimes the woman is, and she just got a really handsome dude.
But again, those are always outliers.
Yeah, that's always exceptions.
If we put 10 couples in a room,
you'll see
8 of them won't be outliers.
You'll see why they're together. They look comparable. They're comparable socioeconomically, usually. You know, and how is that settling? It's almost like, say, if you had to match up mates based on your GPA, how could you have a 2.5 and be expecting a 4.0?
A 4.0.
How would you justify that? I'm going to study better and do better on tests when I get a 4.0?
Well, and again, so that's why I'm saying the 4.0 men in my eyes, I got lucky with you. I am blessed and eternally grateful.
You're going to get some hate mail off of how much compliment you're doing.
Because I love you and I'm so obsessed with you.
Women are going to be like, what's wrong with this beat? Like, she is so on his. Why does she treat him like that? He is not that. Look at him. Let's go dig up some dirt.
Whatever dirt they dig it up, I already know. So I'm good.
It's considered unnatural. But we had the conversation last night of where, and that's one of the things I kicked to you. It's like, yo, I don't expect to be treated like Joe Regular. Like, that's never been my experience. So, like, why would I be looking for that long term? You know what I'm saying? And what I kind of let is that, what I am used to it is a bit of like obsession, a little like really being into, like, that's kind of normal to me. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, that
to my level
is, oh no. Jeez, no, we're gonna short that is not the purpose of the story. No, but it's to really say that, like, I think that's healthy. I think that's a bit more normal than women want to give credit for. If you're not a little bit obsessed with him, it's probably because you chose wrong.
But and then I also said, so my retort to you is, and it kills me that women don't want to give men something to obsess over. Accept me as I am. Body positivity. Help me to be better. That was a woman on I was watching on Kendra G, right? Bigger woman, whatever. She said, you know what? I think that, if a guy is in shape and interested in me, he should help me get to the best version of myself. Why can't you already just present the best version of yourself?
Why is that so much?
Why is it incumbent on a man to help you get to the best version of yourself? Because those same women aren't picking up men. Nope. They're not picking up men who are underemployed, who are not where they want to be, and helping them to be the best version of themselves. So the weight is the same thing. A woman who's overweight, who can't attract the type of man she wants a man who's the type of man she wants to help her get to her best self, lose the 100 and whatever pounds, get in shape, get it all together. So how about a man who is underemployed? Not that he's not employed, but he's underemployed. He knows he can be better. He needs a woman to motivate him and behind his back. Why can't men ask for that? No, women come on and they say, oh no, you should already have it together if you come into me. It's the same thing.
Even if you don't have it together yourself.
Because it's a hell of a lot easier to get a resume together for you, to coach you and do whatever to get to that other job, to figure out some things because you're going to do the work, than to make a woman lose 150 pounds. 150 pounds doesn't just melt overnight. You're putting in maybe a year or 2 years of helping that woman. It might be a few months putting out his resume before he's making a job, making $15,000, $20,000 more than before. But women say that they don't want to do that. So this is why I'm saying you got to balance the scale.
Yeah, and let's step out of delusion for a second and let's step into a very not sexy place. It's called realistically speaking. Just very, 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 very realistically speaking. Let's all bullshit aside. What is something that is a major key ingredient to anyone changing any aspect of their life?
Acceptance. They have to accept that they need to change that aspect of their life.
That is the first part. And then we move into a place where, as a former athlete, as someone who's also competed in sports, you understand it's called discipline. And let's be honest, most of us, as we mature, we might get smarter, but we get less disciplined.
And that's why you appreciate my discipline.
That's why I appreciate her discipline. It's been so consistent at a high level. It bothers me now to where I'm going to have to try to, like I was thinking, like there's just certain factors going on with changes in my life and stuff like that where I'm like, you know, if someone just broke out a basketball right now and said, let's see what let's see how you used to roll, I would look terrible.
And we have a whole basketball court
and
in where we live, a whole basketball court.
If someone said, hey, let's hit the gym, throw some iron around, and I'd be looking horrific. And again, she's in there every day. And that's one of the things is I lost the discipline that it takes. Well, no, again, that's always there. But the motivate, and then the third thing I would say would be motivation.
And I'm motivated to keep it together.
To keep it together. And again, her discipline and motivation is really rubbing on me in a way where it's like I can only see some type of change occurring inevitably. It's just, it is what it is, you know what I mean? Like I'm not used to being kind of out hustled. And the physical care department, she definitely out hustles me. And I appreciate that, but I also want to, give her some of the same type of energy too, you know what I mean?
But I also do it because I recognize that you are a prize. What do I look like coming in your eyes as an 8.5 and saying, I got you now. So that means I can eat whatever, drink whatever, never go to the gym, just everything about me just because I got you. So the reality is, don't I want to keep you? I would like to do it forever and ever. We're going to be buried on top of each other. So what does it look like me coming in and saying, gotcha, bitch? Then everything about me playing. And also, I was an athlete, not the high level you are, but you even hear me talking to our daughter in the car. Mm-hmm. Any sport that she's going to play, I play it. Any sport. If she wants to play softball, volleyball, run track, basketball. I've even done some tennis. I went to tennis camp. Like, I was a person who was, I'm not great, never said I was, but I went to tennis camp, okay? But I was a person who give me a challenge, give me a sport, and I competitively danced. So, give me something, give me a challenge. I'm on it. I want to do my best. I want to be better. And for me, what other motivation to make the person I'm with happy. Again, if I came in as a rating that you put me here. So what do I look like saying, I'm going to drop here? If you are at a 6-figure man and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? This 6-figure job isn't really fulfilling me, babe. I think I'm going to take something a little less. I'm going to cut my income in half and let's make about $50,000. I know we'll need to change our lifestyle, but that's really where I want to be. How do you feel about that? You still got me?
Oh,
No!
Screaming bloody murder, bloody murder. Like, what is wrong with him? Why would he do that? What is he thinking? There's even stories or surrounding that where men are in high stress jobs and they try to step away from that. And of course, the financial resources coming in diminished. And most women are, look, let's be honest, women have a hard time stepping backwards lifestyle. You can't take a woman and put her in a 5-star hotel and then the next trip put her
Motel 6.
Motel 6. She's going to be like, what happened? Like,
Poor.
now you can be, if you put her in the Motel 6 right off the rip, she has her choice, and she can be like the flued out girl or figure out what she's gonna do. But that's what it is from right. That's kind of a rule, fellas. That's kind of a rule of thumb with the ladies is if you have the courage and sometimes the audacity to just say it, what the flip it is, just put it right exactly what it is. You have then put the ball in her court. It's up to her to choose whether she's going to deal with you and what you just told her or not. Now, do a lot of women say, yes, I choose that because they're trying to disprove what you just said? Facts. But that's where it's your job as a man to hold your
give an example,
position
because you lost me.
true. Like, a guy will be like, I've never dated just one woman.
Okay.
It's 2022. I'm new with the new age lingo and whatever. And then 6 months later, so what are we doing?
I've never dated
Where's
just one
this
woman.
going? Well, I want to be your only woman. But I told you right off the rip that I've never dated just one woman. I know, but that's...
I'm different. We've been doing this.
I'm different. Look at what I've been doing for you. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And that's where it's on him to either be like, look, it's kind of like, but I heard once in a proverb, it was like, God only gives you credit for what you do that he asks you to do, not for the stuff that you do in his name. I think that's kind of how men look at it. Like, if I ask you to support me and be behind me as I take on this difficult task, I don't expect you to then go grab a hammer and start helping me smash stuff up. That's not what I asked you to do.
No.
And now you go smash a wall, and I'm like, why did you do that? That's not even a wall we were taking down. Why couldn't you just?
You said it better. We had a clip, and you actually said it perfectly. And I totally forgot how you said it, so people could really get the point. But it was to the point. I remember women got angry at that clip because it was like, "How dare you say it?" I don't remember the way you said. I have to find the clip.
Like keeping it sports, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no coach, no professional coach ever that just lets a player go out there and do what the hell.
No, you said something to the effect of, it's not what you do for me it's important, it's what I wanted you to do for me that's important. Right? Like that's very different.
They're very different things.
And again, what a woman wants a man to do for her, to provide for her, is not the same as a man wants to provide, like the man wants, right? Again, looking at Kendra G.
He wants the woman to provide.
Yes, looking at Kendra G. It's the same question she asks for men and women. If you were to look at 10 men and 10 women, when it came to finances, I would give it 70% of women talk about how much a man needs to make. They will give a number. It's very rare. It was honestly 2 ladies who actually came on and said, you know what, when I meet a guy and he approaches me on the street, I don't know how much money he makes. So for me to come on this platform, I would need a man who's, financially can take care of himself, who's ambitious, who's looking for the next level, that type of thing. But most women will boldly give a number. And often that number is at least 6 figures. I'd like a man to make 6 figures. When you ask a man how he wants a woman to look, most of them will, 7 out of 10 will start talking, unless they're physically attracted to big women. They will like a woman who is in shape, who's physically fit, who is active, who goes to the gym, who is, they'll start talking about characteristics, who bring me peace, who's not argumentative, who's not combative. You take the men, and what they're looking for is very different than what the woman's looking for. So again, if it is your job as a man, as my future spouse, to give me what I want and feed me in a way that I desire, why isn't it my job to give you what you want and feed you in a way that works for you? And part of it is my physical attractiveness. Robert is a 9 in my eyes. I don't believe in perfect 10s. So he's as close to a 10 in my life as possible. When you start going to the gym and gain 30 pounds or so, I might give you a 10. I'll give you 9.75. What are you saying? Yeah, I'm just saying. You living it up because you living good right now in your 9 space. Okay? You start putting down the extra. I'm going to give you some yam and banana and dumpling and supplement and all kinds of stuff. Exactly.
Not a sex machine.
So for you, you're a 9 to me, and I treat you as such. I treat you accordingly. I understand that as a man who I have rated in my life with the qualities that I look for, including financially freeing me, that is a big deal for me, and you did that. And so therefore, I treat you accordingly. I even do things, not just for you, but again, like you said, the discipline to go to the gym. I eat well. We're at the point where even like yesterday, when you're like, there's a reason I didn't eat that, because I'm like, that type of night, I can't eat the same way a 6'9" man eats. I'm 5'5".
No, I don't even, you know what I mean? Like, I totally get, there's times where, again, my daughter is 12, she's tall,
She's
and
5'10",
slender, and she's
117 pounds.
So sometimes I'll be like, yo, let's do canes. And she's like, yay. And she was over there like, no.
I'm not doing that with y'all.
I'm just going to
have the
make
salad.
myself a salad and boil some mushroom pasta. And I'm like, and before I'd be like, yo, why should we be acting like that, But as we've been together and learned and developed, I get it, where it's like, she'd rather choose a healthier option, because she does have her cheat day, or when we go out and eat, it might be, I'm gonna get a luscious, rich seafood pasta with cream sauce and all of this kind of stuff, So I mean, I totally understand.
Because I'm also 5'5". Like, I'm not built the same
way.
way.
And again, I wish more women adopted that mentality. You know what I mean? There's certain, and she says something to my daughter that I really appreciate consistently.
Oh.
Because again, there's a certain side of her. She watches her dad, and like most children, they're gonna do what dad does. And she's always on her like, no. And I know where you get that from. And just because you see him do stuff does not mean that you get to get away with the same thing. And I get that. That's facts. It is.
Because she's not going to go in the world
if
and
I
be able
go
to
eat
have
a
that
whole
experience.
pizza, that's one thing. If she follows up and does the same, it's a little different, because them pounds ain't just going to get burnt off because she's 12 years old. Eventually, she's trying to help her develop the habits and just the thought patterns of thinking about what you do has consequences down the road, even down to your diet. And yes, women have to be more conscientious of that, because that's your bread and butter.
That is how we attract.
That's
Again,
your bread and butter.
There is only a handful of men out there who find a BBW woman so attractive that they're going to disregard me when I walk into a room.
Why is the performance of these BBL surgeries have just skyrocketed?
Because
to
most
help
people
women
don't
get
want
better corporate jobs?
No, so they can attract more men. But then get upset when men.
But you feel what I'm saying?
No,
like,
BBLs are to attract. They are to.
That's
I hate that surgery. By
That
the way.
is
It
not
the laziest
to
thing ever.
get a job as a
Corporate
fiduciary.
attorney.
Let's be real. The waist snatching, that's not to get, a promotion at the plant.
It's to attract.
And 9 times out of 10, because again, there's a lot of OnlyFans out there. That's why you can see sometimes these girls, they'd be like, oh, top 5%, top 6%, because there's that many OnlyFans out there. But if you have consistent activity.
Why are we talking about OnlyFans?
Because we're talking about ratings. And that's
okay.
where, again, that's women's bread and butter. If you are like this woman there, even if she wanted to give her 7, which was doing too much, then her friend, who shouldn't be looking at herself as a 10 either, is telling her, girl, you got it like it's like y'all are getting ready to face an
other women are keeping other women single
like that. You know what
You're
I mean?
not hyping a girl up like, girl,
right,
you got
like,
this.
You
got this going to the girl.
Undefeated boxer, then yeah, you're supposed to think you're the greatest, because if you don't, you're gonna go out there
and get punched in your face.
We're not talking about compete. And you know what else that same fighter doesn't do every other day other than fight night? He doesn't have that same mentality of I am the best. That's why he trains so hard. That's why he trains the way that he does, is because I know I can be better.
And the reality is there are women who will not think, because if everybody is a 10, there is no room for improvement.
If everybody got a PhD, who's gonna work at McDonald's?
So I don't understand this concept. Ladies, a lot of your friends are keeping you single because they're lying to you. They're liars. Your friends are liars. Your friends are lying to you. You are not a 6. You're not a 7, 8, 9, or 10. Friends are lying to you. Some of you are just average, and that's okay. Because you know what? Funny enough, most of the world is average. We live in an average world, in looks, in finances, in, unfortunately, physical fitness, in education level, in aptitude. In so many ways, we live in an average world, because guess what? That's just how the world is designed. If there are too many people on top and the world is top heavy, it doesn't work. So guess what? There needs to be a bigger foundation on the bottom so that you can build the pyramid for the top 10% or the top 20% of people. And it's okay. There are more people in the bottom 80 than they're in the top 20%. So if you're in the bottom 80, it's okay. Stop having your friends keeping you single by hyping you up, and then you go into the world and your life circumstances don't tell you. Let me tell you something. 8, 9s, and 10s, do not wait in lines when we go to clubs. I don't know what is a line, Robert. I'm going to Miami with my girlfriends in September. We have never waited in a line. I actually didn't even know. I didn't even know that women, I won't even lie to you. I remember like the second or third time I went to Miami, I saw women paying, and I didn't know it was a thing. I actually thought most women got it for free. And then I was told, Toshiba, don't be stupid. You know why you don't pay to go into places. Okay. Don't wait in line. Don't pay for things most of the times, right? Random people have given me things randomly in the airport. People move out of the way. Men do things for me they don't do for other people. Open doors. Give me a seat when I can buy. Oh, do you like my life circumstances have shown me my rating? And so when your girlfriends are telling you you're so super dope, you're so super amazing, but when you're in spaces with men, you don't get that energy. Why is that? They don't know your intelligence level. They don't know what job you have. They don't know your title. They don't know your education level. They don't know if you got any babies. They don't know anything about you. All they saw was you walking into a room and presenting yourself. So if you are this 9 or 10 that your girlfriends have hyped you up to be, why are the men not? Why are the men not doing that? Why are the men not hiding? Why are the men not falling at your feet? Why are men not telling you you were a 9 or 10? Why are men not telling you, girl, you look so great in that dress? Or when your girlfriend knows you look hideous. I'm sorry. Like, I am angry at women, especially black women, as a black woman, that we're not honest. And that's the one thing I will give my girlfriends. 20 plus years of friendship. If they don't like my hair, if they don't like how I'm doing my makeup, if they don't like anything, they will tell me. And I will tell them, girl, what the hell is that? That ain't it. No, we ain't gonna do that. And my girlfriends have literally had to be like, yo, I don't, whatever you were trying to do with your hair, don't do that. We don't like that. Like, that ain't it. Bye. It's horrible. Like, it ain't gonna work. And I either go with it or I don't. But at least I got there on when I was gonna cut my hair short. They were like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You've got hair black women wish and like what is, and then I cut my hair and it happened to look so amazing. They were like, well, thank God. Well, thank God you still look good, because we thought you were gonna cut off your beauty. Was I gonna get mad at them for that? No, because those are the types of friends I want. I want friends who are gonna be open and honest with me. When I needed therapy, they told me. When I needed, to step away from certain situations, they told me. When I need to do more, they told me. But a lot of you only hang out with women who hype you up. Yeah. How's that going for you in the romance department?
It just sounds dumb in general. You can't always be hype.
Like, yeah, girl, that's amazing. I know you got a bonnet on and we go into the store, but you work in that bonnet.
Or it's just certain things like, yo, come on, man, you can't celebrate that as success, man. Like again, I made the statement to her, like, I think it's safe to say on either side, the male or the female, if your child is on paternity court, you probably
failed as a parent.
You probably failed.
No, you absolutely failed as a parent.
You messed up somewhere. Your kid's on paternity court. I don't want to hear anybody on that show talking about how good a mom and dad they were. Because if that were the case, the outcome, I'd like to think, 10 out of 10 times would reflect differently. Because that's not a place you're supposed to be.
This was the best one I heard yesterday. Let me tell you about this one. This one would make you be so mad. So this woman is on paternity court. She has her mom with her because she's a little bit younger. I think she was 22. So she's on paternity court with her husband. They were in university together. They got pregnant. She went and said, I raised my daughter in a Christian way. And so the parents met and it was agreed that they would get married. Not because the mom of the son said, because not having a bastard child, right? Like that's what the girl's mom said. I don't want my grandchild to be a bastard. So they had a shotgun wedding. They're now in paternity court because he ain't sure that the baby is his. And though she was raised with Christian values, the wife is admittedly out there cheating on the husband, even though they're separated. And the mom's there talking about, I raised my daughter with Christian values. And the judge had to be like, I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry. I have to say something. You're here talking about what your daughter wouldn't do, blah, blah, blah. Do you realize that she was making herself available to him? And now the next man that she's cheating on her husband with, stop it with the Christian values. So she was trying to say how this guy the mom should have raised him better and so forth. But you're trying to sit here and talk about how you raised your daughter, only to find out she also had another child.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. So let's to refocus it back to the ratings, and again we got on paternity and stuff for a minute, but that's a good segue into this. I was just thinking, what is a good rule of thumb as far as to give as a guy? Hate me if you want to. Maybe this is my scale, this is my opinion, this is not facts, but I do believe there is quite a bit of fact in the statement.
Okay, I'm ready.
As a rule of thumb,
okay,
8s, 9s, and 10s don't approach men, men approach them.
I would agree with that.
So ask yourself, ladies, most of the men that you've been in these type of romantic relationships with, did you present yourself to him or did he present himself to you? Be honest, because that's where I think, again, you can layer in the caveat of He was not thinking about you until you jumped up in his face. Because 8s, 9s, and 10s never have to jump up in a dude's face. They can just sit back and comfortably wait for, because knowing some man is going to approach me and shoot a shot. It's just a matter of time. So if you find yourself shooting your shot at dudes a lot, like I heard this one girl on social media saying, I guess it's some app where she was like, I like that app better because
Bumble.
I get to rate the man. They don't get to rate me. I'm more in control
Bumble.
of my dating. What was it? Like controlling your dating options or some term they
Bumble.
were using or whatever. And I was like,
It's just stupid.
that's why so many women are in trouble, because you don't choose from the men that pursue you. You choose from men that you pursue. So yeah, you're making a choice either way, but it's how you're arriving at that choice that's getting you in trouble every single time, because the dude who's actually checking for you is probably invisible to you.
So that you know what that app is, that I didn't know if you heard me. That
Oh,
app is Bumble. It was made by two women who, in my mind, are feminists, who said that you need to give the power of dating back in the hands of women. So how Bumble rates is very similar to Tinder. You're swiping and swiping. However, only the woman can initiate conversation. So I would have to initiate conversation with you first before we could even have a conversation. So the woman takes charge. I was on Bumble for 2 seconds and I said, this is stupid. Once I realized what the hell it was, I was like, hold on. So if a man likes me, I have to, because on Tinder, we liked each other. I wasn't saying hello to you first. You said hi to me first. And that's normally how it goes for me when I was on Tinder. I wasn't, we've matched. Great. So I will wait him to reach out to me because he gets a notification that I like him too. Great. Let's do that. And generally it was within a day, sometimes less, where a guy was like, oh my God, just noticed that we match. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Let's meet. Let's whatever. I'd love to take you out to dinner, coffee, whatever it is with the kids. I'm not going in. I don't want the power. Why? Why do I want the power to do what? To ask? Am I supposed to then ask you out?
That app sounds hilarious.
It's stupid.
You know what that app
Bumble's
makes
dumb.
me think of?
Bumble's.
Net fishing.
What's net fishing?
Like a guy can just throw a net across the stream and sit back and take
And
a
wait,
nap
that's so
and
true. And just wait for women to approach
and then
him.
wait till fish get caught in the net and pull the net out the water. And I got 3, and were them the best 3 fish that he could catch? Probably not.
But he
And
got
I'm
3.
sure he's aware of that. But I got 3 fresh fish, and I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy these because I can throw a net back out there. And it's probably not the same quality of the fish that I could catch if I had quality lure and bait and it was up. And again, oh, Robert, you're comparing women to fish. No.
Ain't nobody. But that's the reality.
But that's
That's actually what the reality is. Bumble is a ridiculous app in my
jumping
opinion.
up in dudes' faces
Yes.
on an app and thinking that's a better
Yes.
option for success.
Because in the minds of the creator, it gave us power and control over our dating, which is ridiculous. Again, dating is a marketplace, and we're judged on different things.
Segue
It's
it
stupid.
to it before because again, I didn't realize that we had so much time going on already. Okay, that's why I don't advise women to shoot their shot with men, because of this. Here is the humongous, tremendous caveat to successful male-female relationships.
I'm ready.
When he shoots his shot at you,
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10,
Mm-hmm.
it's safe to assume you've visually attracted him.
Yes, correct.
You've caught his attention.
Correct.
He wants to know your name.
Yes,
Who
correct.
is this woman?
Yes.
And he presents himself to you and asks, I'm Robert, yada, blah, 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 blah.
Correct.
Now, when you shoot your shot at him, when you come from across the ballroom over to him and say, hey, I'm Toshiba, and I just saw you from across the room, and I really like you, and you know what you've done for this dude now?
What have I done?
You've given him, it's like our show F-Boy Island. Now, you've chosen an F-Boy, and he has the choice of whether he wants to take all the money and run off and do his thing, or whether he wants to split the money with you. You came over to him saying, I like you. You know the danger to that, ladies?
You've given him the advantage in the situation.
You don't know if he likes you. You don't know if he likes you. Guys are very good at pretending to like girls. Is that newsflash? I thought y'all learned that in like elementary school. And if not, damn, dads are important. Because yes, a woman should know that guys are very good at pretending to like you. Pretending.
Here's the
He
thing.
doesn't really like you.
My girlfriend had a post up also on Facebook. Again, I went on Facebook and it got inspired this week. Girlfriend had a post on Facebook, and basically on the strength of it, it was talking about relationships and how many women are assuming to be in relationships and not in relationships, right? And it's some women will say, and she was like, it's not just about words, it's about actions. It's about both of them. It's both of them combined. Actions and words are what creates a relationship. And there were some women who were like, well, how he acts is telling me he's in a relationship. So I had to break it down. I was like, listen, let me tell you what makes it. I was like, dates do not make a relationship. Sex do not make a relationship. Him bringing you around his friends or his family does not make a relationship. The only thing that makes a relationship are two people coming together and saying they're in a relationship. And it generally starts with the man initiating the conversation and said, we've been dating. I'm good. There ain't nothing else out in these streets that I want. I got everything I want. Let's do this thing. Are you in?
That's usually how it goes.
That's how it goes. That's traditionally how it goes. So all of this, and you know what was so funny? So Kendra, she's casting for this show of people who met online they've been talking, but they haven't met in person. Why did Kendra actually have to say, ladies, stop sending me notes and DMs about relationships if the man doesn't know you're even in one? So women were sending and saying, I'd like to meet Robert. And I guess they would go out and talk to Robert and say, hey, have you been dating? So she was like, no, we're not dating. So she actually had to add a disclaimer to say, ladies, I'm sorry. Make sure that the man knows he's also dating you. I was dying. She didn't have to do that disclaimer for men.
You had a bunch of women claiming men who, when confronted with that information,
say no, they're not dating.
And the Puff Daddy like, what?
We not together.
What?
Yes. She had to create a disclaimer for that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So to me, it's like if you're realistic with how you are rated in the marketplace, that would never happen. You would never, again, I said it before and I will say it over and over again. There are a lot of women who are in relationships with single men because they have made assumptions about the status of a relationship based on nothing other than this man has shown you what? Like you said, attention, but has never spoken to you about his intention. Why? Because your girlfriends have again been lying to you. Your girlfriends are women. Please start hanging around with more realistic girlfriends. And I know most of you don't want to. Let's be clear. Most of you do not want to hang around women who keep it real because you will have to face the circumstances of your life.
Yeah, and you can't put it back on men again by saying, well, men shouldn't be out here messing around without intentions of relationships. Because come on, y'all done took casual sex to a whole other level. We didn't.
Well, sex wouldn't be casual if women wouldn't say yes.
I don't know why that's such a controversial statement. Why that's such I guess because that truly, really kind of puts it in certain situations, but
why was it controversial?
It's not,
for you to take sex from me is rape. It's against the law. It is not often that a woman forcibly takes it from a man, right? Most rape cases would be a male committing it to a woman. Therefore, if I don't say yes, it is a crime for you to take sex.
yeah,
So casual sex is predicated on a woman just seeing a man's attention and thinking he has intention and giving up the pum-pum, hoping that attention will turn into a relationship.
Which is dumb.
So again, casual sex is not predicated by men. It's predicated by women. You can't have sex. Like, I can walk out into the world and choose 5 guys and say, would you like to have sex with me?
Yeah.
Other than maybe being married and not wanting to cheat on their wife, I'll say 5 single men, 5 single unattached men. It is maybe one will say no. So I would back probably about 80%. 4 to 5 guys would likely be like, absolutely, I will have sex with you. It is not, it's easy for me. It's not as easy for men to go out and say, yeah, you know what, 7 o'clock, my house, let's have sex.
No, not without hiring a professional and paying cash.
Because it costs something.
Yeah.
And so
Which is
again,
yeah.
it is, but we're mistaking our value in the sexual marketplace because men are having sex with us.
Which is stupid. The rating is not based. It's almost like you got 2 different ratings. You have the sex rating and the relationship rating. And you need to kind of know his temperature on both.
Oh, well, educate the
And
ladies.
on the flip side of it, because again, I even recommend it to dudes, because again, I would say to most gentlemen out there, if you're like, say you're a guy out there moving and you don't have any kids, you really have to be screening from the perspective of, you can't afford to have sex with a woman that if she told you she was pregnant and was having a baby, that you would not be at least willing to work with the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because how you can't be having
if your first reaction is, oh fuck,
why are you having unprotected sex with her?
Like, you got to be kidding me. I cannot believe. I do not want you to have my child. I do not want you to be my life. I don't want nothing to do with you in that way.
I know for a fact that message is being kind of pushed because guys have had to adjust to the fact that, look, 9 times out of 10, if she's pregnant, she's telling you that 10 months later she's going to have a baby.
She's not asking. This isn't a conversation.
This isn't a conversation.
What should we do?
This isn't a what should we do.
This is what I'm going to do.
I'm telling you what has happened and what I'm going to do.
And now what are you going to do that I'm about to have your baby?
What I'm going to do about that situation? Because now it's a situation. That's a lot of the times how it's going to go. And I think men have had to adopt to that. And therefore, how can you avoid not giving a woman that type of power over you? And it's protecting your seed. That's men are, and again, it's very interesting that men are adapting by being more protective of their seed when women are being less restrictive around their womb. It seems like they're not going in the direction it feels like they're supposed to.
Because I get, you know what, men have been beaten over the head with the, it takes two. I didn't make this baby by myself. You chose the baby by yourself, though, but that is accurate. You didn't make it by yourself. It required the implantation of a sperm into an egg. Completely get that. But you chose the baby by yourself. Yeah. But unfortunately, again, society doesn't hold women to be accountable for bad choices. There's always something else. Well, it's this person's fault. So I agree with you. If a woman in the sexual marketplace isn't the type of woman that at the end of the day you could see a future with, and like you said, if she came up pregnant, you would say, at the very least, let me try to have a relationship. At the very least, let me try to have, I'm not saying go to marry her, like, but try to be committed to her.
Insecure.
Thank you. Lawrence in Insecure. At the very least, I'm going to try to have a relationship with her. And if that doesn't work, we can be great co-parents because she's the type of woman who shares the values that I have. And so, yes, this is when we say to men, okay, well, you know what?
Why are you doing
I could almost say having sex with women is why the sexual marketplace is the way it is. Having sex with women who are not in a rating scale that you would find that's relationship material, again, just on looks, just on presentation, because that's when we're out there, just on presentation. Yeah. When you start, because you know what the issue is, and this is my problem with some of you men. Some of you are very lazy. It's going to take time and effort to get to Sheba. And that's shit I've heard before. Men have told me, yo, Guys were talking about you and they said, if you're coming to talk to Toshiba, you got to come correct. And so they'll go for a little bit easier. I'm gonna do some stuff. I want Toshiba. I'm eventually gonna do what I need to do. But in the meantime, you see this low hanging fruit, as you like to call. I'm gonna smash a few of those.
Mhm.
So now the low hanging fruit is out there. They're the fives. Let's call them the fours and the fives. Because six and above is what most men want. So let's call them the fours and the fives. The average to below average. You smash a few of those, and you're a Beyonce, so you're at 8 and a 9 when women start thinking about it. So now you've mixed and mingled, and women think, well, he's had sex with me, so I'm appealing. I am now comparable to the women that he would be in a relationship with. Y'all have done that. Yes, we have made casual sex, but you have, in your actions as men, especially the higher, I won't even say the high value men, but the better looking men, because you don't have to be high value and be good looking, right? A lot of women, it doesn't matter. The money doesn't matter. They're not bragging necessarily about the guy who's a 4 who has a lot of money that he slept with them. That's the sugar daddy or the whatever. But the Beyonces of the world were like, yeah, I was with Rob last night. Oh shit, girl, really? Because blah 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 blah. So you had to slip up that night and you slept with a 4 or a 5, but now she gets to claim you. And she in her friend group, that again, if you've got a friend group who isn't like mine, who's giving you unrealistic, girl, really? Such and such was trying to get with Rob and they were saying he was acting, girl, you bad now. Yeah, da 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 da. So what y'all doing? So what you doing? You guys gonna be going out? Like there's this whole unrealistic thing because you lowered your standard. But that was on y'all.
Yeah, but yeah.
What's the
No.
No.
Look, man, men have sex and women have babies. Like it's very, 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 very different, man. From the perspective of.
But now you had sex. This is why I put
because women have turned that vagina almost into like a bear trap. You know, the thing that you step on it and it snaps and traps your leg shut. Now, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of where that tactic comes from. Again, let's not dismiss the power of a woman jumping in a man's face. You're used to getting hit on because your existence since you've been legally of age has been men approaching you.
Yes.
Because I said 8, 9s, and 10s don't have to approach men. Men approach them. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
But men, it's the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Whereas myself, I am used. Well, I ain't gonna say used to, but in my former life, I was used to women approaching me. And I'm used to women approaching me like, "What's up?" That type of energy, that kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying? But that's not really how it should be. You know.
And did you find that off-putting?
Like that's.
Answer my question. Let's stop for a second. Did you find it off-putting?
Yes.
And why did you find it off-putting?
Because the first thing when a woman does something like that, I want, and whether it's with me or even if I see it with another guy, is hand her that bottle of water right there, man.
Because she thirsty. It's not convenient.
Take a little sip right there, man. You sounding thirsty as hell. Because you can say, oh, well, this dude knocked me off or whatever like that. But again, let's get into actions. Let's get into the circumstances. Let's get into around it. Like I remember one of them where they talking about like, if he comes in late at night, rub-a-dub-dubs, falls out, gets up in the morning and leaves, how are you acting like that's not a standard? I mean, that's not a treatment that would be synonymous with I really like you.
No.
You feel me?
He'll want to stay for breakfast. He'll want to take you out. He'll want to spend time with you. He'll want to know what's going on. He'll ask you about your day. No, that's fact.
And let's not dismiss that. Like women justify a lot of crazy to get to some of them crazy points because there's no way. Like again, you're talking about these women like, oh, I want to meet Robert, and he's like, who? Man, I had we went back and forth on a couple of threads and
that was it.
Like she was sounding a little thirsty, and I got like 150 DMs off of my appearance on your show.
That's it's yeah, it's an interesting place. So I would speak to women and say, don't make your friends keep you single by giving you unrealistic expectations of what your value is in the sexual marketplace, especially if you're not trying to munch on their carpet.
Yeah, and that's another thing. That's why women don't want to sit in the space and just wait for men to approach them, because frequently
they won't get approached.
They won't get approached.
And then again, the men that hold on, let me stop you. And then the men who are approaching them, they'll say that's not the type of men that they want. So this is why it's sad. There is a difference between the person you want versus the person who wants you. And when your rating in the sexual marketplace is average or below, unfortunately, it is better for you to be with the person who wants you, because 9 times out of 10, the person you want only is giving you attention for that moment. He has no intentions of taking a relationship further than that bedroom.
Especially if you met him out in nightlife, you know what I'm saying? Because men do not ever leave the house like, man, I hope it's a lot of soulmates at the club. Like, that's a Deion Cole joke, but it was dead ass serious. Like, men do not go out into nightlife with that mindset. No. They go with the mindset of,
let me see how much I can
not find nothing slipping.
Why do you guys say beg? Let me see how many women I can beg.
Let me find nothing slipping. Because sometimes, what if it's just dudes going out that are in relationships that have women at home, but it's a fella's night out. Like, again, most men are not equipped to reject coochie.
And there's that. So, in the interest of time, we're going to go to our question book because I got things to do.
Most men are not equipped for that. That's asking too much of that man.
Drops my bars.
What makes us different from other couples? I believe our communication style is a bit outlandish for a lot of couples. They just think that, like, again, you have to risk the loss, the possibility that this person might be offended, or it might hurt their feelings, or they might not like it, but I think we also have the understanding is like, yo, again, just because you don't like it doesn't mean you ain't gotta listen to it.
Facts. That's where fuck your feelings come in. Again, if you don't know, fuck your feelings means that your feelings doesn't get to invalidate the feelings of your partner when that partner is expressing how they feel.
Or require them to be someone different from who they are.
Fact.
I think that's been something we've spent a bit of time finessing, smoothing out the corners and the edges on. Is, I kind of expressed to her a bit. It's like, I feel like I clearly give you your space to be you and your full Jamaican woman, bisexual spiciness. Let me be my bad attitude, arrogant, ornery, moody self sometimes too. That's.
Oh, I don't give you space to do that?
No, we've not. But again, I feel like you go a little. You take it personal. No, you don't.
I do.
On occasion. Occasionally you do.
Okay, well, I'm sensitive.
You are.
I'm not emotional.
Soul.
I'm not an emotional
For the sensitive soul,
that's why Sorlin
the
saying
number one brand spokesperson of Sorlin Say is because she is definitely a sensitive soul. Ladies, hey, she talks that. I think she's gonna be rough with y'all, but she talks that, but she's definitely a sensitive.
I am, but especially with you, because
I'm a little bit, occasionally movies and films can get me a bit emotional.
No, you're not a sensitive soul. I said I'm a sensitive soul.
I said
you.
Sometimes I am, but overall, yeah.
I done messed up. I done messed up. I don't know what to
do.
I done messed up. There we go.
See, look, she done messed up the Instagram feed.
I done touched something, messed it up.
But yeah, normally I'm more of like, again, I tend to just jump straight to the logic of the situation. Like, how did we arrive here? And sometimes I'm like, boo, y'all are like
Okay, but
Okay,
you're going
yeah,
off
yeah,
because
yeah.
you done went into a
I forgot
tangent.
it.
I just need you
Yeah.
to answer the damn question.
Wait, I forgot
Moving
we was
on.
in question section for a second. We're getting ready to get off of here.
Where do you see us in 5 years? Married, with a media company, with 2 or 3 homes under our belt, working on our living trust for these babies we got, and really living a good life.
There you go, manifest it. I love it. Speak it into existence. I'm a manifester. You just speak it into existence. What is your favorite holiday? This is a quick answer. Thanksgiving. I just think it's the most truest. The spirit of it's the holiday where the spirit of it is truest to what the supposed meaning of it is, which is to just take stock and be thankful of what you do have going on. It's usually a night I like to get, those little box combos where you get your little bottle and your little matching shot glasses or etc. It's
That will make Thanksgiving bigger this year. That I didn't realize that.
No, but I just think that's kind of the purpose of Thanksgiving is to just take stock and be thankful. I like that. It tends to be people try to gather up and visit and see each other. And it's not about no exchanging of gifts or what have you done for me or what you get me or nothing like that. So that tends to be my favorite of the calendar holidays.
For that purpose, I'm gonna make sure Thanksgiving, because last year we did Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
so
I'm cool if it's subdued, because again, just me and you, I'm gonna have that same energy.
I appreciate that, babe.
Well, and the kids, of course, but I'm have the same energy.
What's a hard no when it comes to sex? Putting clamps on my nipples. Seriously, I have very sensitive nipples.
I do know that a bit.
Yeah, because I'm sensitive nipples. I'm not gonna have you put clamps and then so clearly where my head went.
She'd ever have to pop my hands away from either. I'm just the world of S&M is just not all that appealing to me.
I laugh because that was the hard no, not like anal or a threesome or something. That was my hard no. I gotta laugh at myself.
Yeah, true. What's the best way for someone to improve themselves? Self-discipline. Like I said, it's usually acceptance, discipline, and motivation that causes life-altering change.
Did you talk about sex with your family? With my mom, no. My mom's rule was if you have sex, I'm gonna know when you come in the house. So no, we're done. So no, sex was not something that I talked about necessarily with my family. With my dad, I had different conversations, and it wasn't necessarily like, baby girl, like this is sex and blah 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 blah. But we'd have more talks about relationships and how a man should treat a woman and so forth. I think in his mind, that was kind of how we have a conversation about sex. But I'm trying to make sure that in the family, the children definitely were having conversations around sex. I did that with my oldest, and I'm doing this with the youngest too, in terms of making sure that they understand sex, what it's about, and all those different things. It's not a faux pas topic in our household. So I would love for you to give people some last words about words. God, you just got distracted. Please give people some last words about the topic. Everybody cannot be a 10, and ladies in the sexual marketplace.
Excuse me.
Oh my Lord. I know he was at his limit.
I got blowed out yesterday, being up all night. There's nothing wrong with being realistic. If you're unsure, if you think you're biased and kind of evaluating and judging yourself, just straight up and down. I would suggest people of the opposite sex. I know because it's hard. Most women don't have that space, but I would say ask some of them dudes you friend zoned or something like that. But no, seriously, in my life socially, just straight up and down, ask a guy, fair scale, what he think. No, because it's like he's got to know you, because the dude that don't know you is probably going to give
so
you
your advice isn't I'm going to go women to women. Your life circumstances tell you how you rate on the sexual marketplace.
Yeah, that too.
If your platinum standard of dining on a date is Red Lobster, I'll even go a little bit more top level and say Papa Dough. You don't rate very high on the sexual value marketplace. If you don't know what the inside of a 5-star hotel looks like, you do not rate very high. If men do not court you and want to take you on dates and are only wanting to Netflix and chill with you, your value on the sexual marketplace is not very high. If you've never dated a man who is serious about his business in his life, who wants to take you around and have you network with him, your value on the sexual marketplace is not very high. If the type of men you attract are men, all you say that they're toxic, all you attract are toxic men who want you to pay for dates and go 50-50, your value on the sexual marketplace is not very high. It doesn't need to go any further than your life circumstances because, again, men can lie to you. And I traditionally don't think men want to hurt women's feelings. And that's why Uncle Kevin, rest in peace, was such a hated man because he took a stance of, I'm going to keep it real old school. I'm Jamaican. So Uncle Kevin, he was good with me because Jamaican men, old West Indian men, they don't lie. They don't care if it's their child. You're their child. They will not lie to you. Old Jamaican men do not lie. And I was accustomed to that in my life. But y'all little sensitive women who were used to men telling you shit that because I don't want to deal with her shit. I don't want to deal with any of that. But again, it doesn't take more than your own life circumstances to tell you how you rate on the sexual marketplace.
All right.
End of story. So before we go, I have to thank our sponsor, Sorrel and Sage. Make sure you visit them on their Instagram at Sorrel and Sage CA or on their website, shopsorrelandsage.com. They make skincare products for the sensitive soul. Anything you can think of, I'm sure she can make it. And again, it's vegan based. And if you have products that have been breaking out your skin, I guarantee you, working with Sorrel and Sage, it's going to change your life. I will put money on that. If you buy something at Sorrel and Sage and it doesn't work for you, email us back. I will actually refund you the money. That's how much I believe, and you know I love my money. That's how much I believe in Sorrel and Sage. So as usual, as we like to say, if you bring a little fuck your feelings into your life, it may just make you stay together. So we thank you for those who have joined us, and we will see you next week. And Robert, last words?
That's it. Goodbye. See you next Thursday.
Okay.
Enjoy your weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye.